All right, we're back for what is it, 17 now, Fred? Episode 17 of the Idiot Circle. I'm Mike.
I'm Fred.
I'm Rob.
And back for a repeat performance, pinch hitting tonight, Mr. Jeff Hall. How you doing, Jeff?
Good. How you guys doing?
Jeffster!
Jeff, you're our first two-timer.
Yeah.
2 times.
He's a glutton for punishment. He came back for more.
Hey guys, I got breaking news. This just in.
All right.
Just in, hot off the press.
Here we go.
This week, Monday, Austin Matthews started his beer hockey league as he does every year at this time.
I missed that. What are we talking about?
Basically saying that the Maple Leafs got beat and they're out of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh.
Again.
And was that a shot at Fred? Because Fred wanted the Leafs to win?
No. Fred could care less. I mean, he just wants to see good hockey, right, Fred?
Well, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I don't know what was dumber, the Aaron Rodgers breaking news or that.
However, dumb, both true.
True
that.
So Fred, speaking of hockey, who do you want to win the Stanley Cup?
Anybody but Tampa Bay.
Oh boy. You gotta pick somebody.
Oh, you're the douchebag because you're a bandwagon bitch.
Douchebag.
Oh, yeah.
I've been a Lightning fan since 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Steve Yzerman's team, Fred. He built
Well,
that team.
Oh,
yeah.
bullshit.
According to Rob, he had nothing to do with this the dynasty down there whatsoever.
No, in Detroit, they keep talking about how he built that dynasty. And I'm like, no, he did not. He just didn't fuck it up because it was already a well-oiled machine, like Fred likes to say.
So I guess if I had my choice, the only team that can beat Tampa Bay, in my opinion, is the Carolina Hurricanes. And they're having a tough time with the Rangers right now. And as far as the opposite direction, if it's, I'll tell you now, if it ends up being Tampa Bay and Colorado for the Stanley Cup, it's going to be a hell of a Stanley Cup.
Okay, so who do you want to win, though?
I do. Well, obviously,
he answers questions like Joe Biden.
Yeah, I have to nail it. You know, it's kind of like nailing jello to a tree, but okay. I'm trying to.
If I had my choice, I want the New York Rangers to win.
Okay.
Oh, but wait, let's preface it this. About a month ago, before they made a trade for the local boy, he wouldn't have said Rangers.
That's not true because typically when it comes to the playoffs, if there's an original 6 team still left, I usually kind of jump on their bandwagon if my team falls out.
Well, we know that Toronto's not there anymore. So yeah.
That is correct. And that's who I was rooting for last year.
Okay, Rob, we know who you're rooting for, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that goes without saying.
Yep.
How about you, Jeff? Who do you want to win?
I'm with Rob. I like the Lightning. I've always liked the Lightning. Yep.
There you go, Jeff.
I don't want to call myself a Lightning fan, but I've always liked him. And it's because Steve Yzerman was there. That's why I liked him. So
see, Mike, I told you he's a better replacement for Fred. I'm with you, Mike. I think Jeff should be
I never said that.
Fred, I got one for you though. You're not going to root for Colorado over Tampa Bay, would you?
No.
I was going to say that's the
but Fred, you said anybody but Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's the truth, but if it ends up being Colorado,
are you going to root for Tampa Bay then?
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to.
Okay.
Because
what's the hatred on the Avalanche? I mean,
well, obviously, it's because of the rivalry with the Red Wings back in the day. And, I hate Patrick Waugh. Joe Sakic can go.
I know, but Patrick Waugh might have been one of the greatest goalies ever.
Yeah, he's in the top 10.
True. Yeah. I'd say top 5, but
no.
Okay.
Top 10.
Who do you got over him? You gotta come
Over.
up with 9. You get the
Brodeur.
top 10. So
We're gonna
give me
be
9.
Well,
Okay,
first of
here
all,
you go.
we were already
Fucking hour
discussing.
show. We got time. Mike.
Sure. I will take Terry Sawchuk. I'll take Martin Brodeur. I'll take
Maybe.
Dominic Hasek.
It's Martin, by the way. Martin.
Oh,
Yeah,
Martin.
Martin.
Martin. Sorry. I will take. I would take Eddie Belfour.
Oh no.
Blackhawks, huh?
I would take Ben Bishop. I would take. I would
Bishop
take
just
Tim
has
Shovelday.
longevity.
Would
Tim
you take former?
Shovelday.
I'm
You
just kidding.
said 2, maybe. You said
Would
2,
you take
maybe.
former Port Huron border cat Kevin Butt?
No,
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Ron Tugnut.
Getting crazy
He
now.
loves that name. So-
Grant. I would take Grant Fuhrer. I would take Mike Smith from the
Who was
Islanders.
the
Oh,
dude the
back
Red
in the
Wings
day, the
had?
longtime Islanders. yeah.
Who was the dude the Red Wings had? Was he from Finland or something like that? What the hell was his name?
Oh, you're really narrowing it down.
No,
there.
real tall guy.
Fuck
Oh,
off,
yeah.
Mike. I know who you're going to say, Jonathan Erickson.
No.
Oh,
He's a
no.
goalie. I don't know if he was from Finland or where the hell he was from. He was a famous goalie. He
Was
only
Dominic
played.
Hasek?
There you go, Hasek. Where's he
Dominic Hasek was unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
What-
from.
what
He'd
country?
be
Yeah.
one of.
Oh,
He'd be
it's
one
Slovakia.
over
Yeah.
Raw.
from? Yeah, Hasek. Okay. See, I know a little bit about hockey.
Well,
Listen, look at
My
you.
knowledge is like 30 years old, but
I also. What
in
was it?
everything, Mike.
yeah, pretty much.
Who was the goalie before Hasek? Mike Vernon.
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 Yeah.
Vernon was
And what
good.
about
but he's not
Osgood?
top 10. Osgood was good. but
Osgood
again, not
is
10.
Hall of Fame. Should be in the Hall of Fame, and he will be because it's ridiculous.
Whoa.
Isn't it?
Guess what I heard on the radio today? They were interviewing Keegley. You know who Luke Keegley is.
Yeah.
They asked him if Cam Newton should be in the Hall of Fame if he ended his career today, and he said yes.
No bullshit.
No way.
He
No
did say
way.
it. I swear to God.
Well, what else is he supposed to say?
That's his.
You know,
yeah,
you
that
know,
was his quarterback.
Yeah.
I
That was
know,
just,
but listen, it's really when you go on a show like this, he's getting paid, right? He's an analyst, he's an announcer now. Are you there just to protect your boys, or you're there to talk about real football?
I mean, you should be there to talk about real football, but there's no way Cam Newton's in the Hall of
No
Fame.
way.
Maybe the College Football Hall of Fame for what
well,
he
he's
did
in.
at
He's in
Auburn,
the
but-
He's already in the college football.
Okay, well, that it might be deserved. I don't know, but
Heisman
pro football,
winner,
no way.
1 year like nobody else ever had. I wouldn't argue it, but not in the NFL. Because
Yeah.
if we start putting guys like that just because of popularity, that's going to sully with the Hall of Fame. Fred, how long did it take? What's his name for the Raiders to get in the Hall of Fame?
Ken
Stabler.
Stabler
Yeah.
forever.
No, Stabler should have been in
He should have been
I
in
mean,
a long time.
long
ago.
time
Mike,
ago.
it took him 40 years almost to get in the Hall of Fame.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is
Well, and to
absolute-
that point,
I
Cliff
can name
Branch
three
still isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Who is it?
Cliff
Branch.
Branch is wide receiver, still
Yeah, I
isn't.
know, that's
there.
ridiculous
That
too.
is.
I can name 3 quarterbacks that were better numbers than they're not going to get than Cam Newton that are not not going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Name him.
Steve Bartkowski, Brian Sipe, and Steve Grogan.
I love me some Brian Sipe back in the day.
Oh,
boy.
yep. Those 3 guys will not be in the Hall of Fame, but they were 100 times better quarterback than Cam Newton.
Mike, you remember Brian Sipe. That's our
Yeah.
heyday. That's when
Yeah.
we just started liking football. And I had a couple of his cards. I didn't really like the Browns, but I mean, he was just, I loved that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a big Steve Bartkowski guy. And,
He's
and the
good.
reason why I was is because my dad coached at Divine Child, and the Falcons had the same. They had the same helmets.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
just
right.
and I thought he had, his football cards looked pretty cool. Action
Jeff, to the
type.
people down in Divine Child, it's not Divine Child has the same helmets as the Atlanta Falcons. It's the Falcons have the same helmets.
That's
as
what I.
Divine
Well, that's what I
Child.
said.
That's right. That's right.
I stopped myself from saying it, and I
Nice.
fixed it.
Hey, how about this one? So Matt Stafford, let's take this year out of it. Let's say he retired with his Lions
Yes.
career. Is he in the
Yes.
Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yes.
Me, I would vote him there,
Yes.
but I'm biased. Yeah.
Yeah.
He,
It's hard.
statistic wise, he was faster in a lot of categories than any other quarterback in history. I mean, obviously
To
he's
get
playing
to
on the
the- yeah.
Lions, and
Well,
they
yeah.
had to pass a lot, but still, you can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had a pass with no offensive line and very little receivers, except for really one. Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, to
Absolutely.
that point too, that's if you take a look like 70s or 80s, like our heyday, Terry Bradshaw really doesn't get the credit he deserves either. He was
But
a great
if you look at
quarterback.
his numbers, they're not really that great other than the Super Bowl wins.
Called his own plays too. Yeah, he called his own plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
On the
I mean-
behest of his coach, he still just did what he wanted to do out there. Jeff. You weren't going to tell Bradshaw what to do. I mean,
I'd much
mean-
rather watch him play football than hear him talk about football. It's
Oh,
annoying.
you ain't
yeah.
or act in a movie.
Well,
wait,
yeah. I would like
got
to watch.
another one. Gary Danielson. I much rather watch play football. Wasn't that great, but to listen to him is like nailed.
Yeah,
on.
I can't agree with
Talk
you on
about.
that because obviously I'm a little biased on that
Oh.
one. So,
Well, it's just, his SEC bias is
Oh,
yeah,
it's
that,
just
yeah.
so fun. Dude, even the SEC people don't like him. Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
the message boards on the SEC. They hate him. And so all the other conferences hate him already. And
right.
he thought by doing SEC bias, he would win their hearts. No.
I mean, it's a horse race between Feinbaum and fucking Danielson for who's farthest up the SEC.
Well, yeah, they're both in a race trying to catch Musburger. Asshole. I wouldn't piss on that guy if he was on fire.
Where does that come from? Where's all
Wow.
that hate from?
You know what it comes
Because he's
from?
a fucking Ohio State lover.
He's no Keith
Well-
Jackson.
Well,
That's for
really,
damn sure.
Musburger is a Northwestern grad,
Right.
and all those Northwestern grads have a bias against Michigan. Always, they
Right.
always are Michigan haters.
Why is that?
Because Michigan's
beat
the Harvard
you.
of the Midwest and they think that they should be.
Hey, Fred,
Yes.
is there an unraveling going down in Tuscaloosa? Are the wheels starting to come off the bus? Should Bama fans be worried?
I would say, Rob, that the czar of college football opened up his mouth, and he's going to end up putting his foot's going to end up in there, and it's going to come unraveling here pretty quick.
Jeff, could a guy like Nick Saban, it sat so high on a pinnacle like that, could he be knocked down from something like this?
100%, especially with the NIL stuff coming up. He's going to be on equal ground with other teams, and I'm going to tell you, he's done nothing but make enemies with that statement. Because I mean, I'm sorry, that's as dirty of a program as any of them.
It has to
You don't-
be. It
You
has
don't win
to
in
be.
college football unless you're a little dirty.
Yeah, I mean, it
You
has
gotta
to be.
a
Though.
little dirty.
Yeah,
All those recruits coming to Alabama, it's not just because they were winning. It can't possibly be. There's no fucking way. He should have kept his mouth shut.
Yep.
And you know what? Kudos to Jimbo Fisher for defending.
but
his
he's better
team,
watch
his
what
players.
he says too, because like the meme I sent you, it says ATM on the side of Texas A&M's helmet.
Yeah.
But
Mike,
maybe they're doing it legally, according to the guidelines. It
Well,
sounds like
here's
that's
my
what
thing.
it is.
The thing that scares me about the NIL is it's starting to leak into the high schools.
It
And
is.
Yeah, and it's getting to the point where this is
Well, of
getting
course it would.
stupid.
Of course it would. We
know,
open up those.
So, I mean, between the transfer portal, the NIL, they've opened up a whole different can of worms that is
CMU.
the fact is you're going to see kids leave schools to go to another one because like for instance Lincoln Riley got that wide receiver from Pitt, Addison, to transfer out there. Damn well that was an NIL deal. It was probably some tampering going on. There's going to have to be some tight fine lines going on here. And it better not leak into the high schools or we're going to see some serious shit going on. It's
Can I
going to
tell
get
you-
ugly.
You made
Can
a
I
good point just a minute ago when you said or someone said Jimbo Fisher better watch what he says.
That's
And
Fred.
Mike,
That
you
was
said
me.
something like, "Hey, I'm glad he stood up against Nick Saban." However, he did call out a bunch of Nick Saban coaches saying that, "Hey, you know what he's done. Why don't you come out and start spilling the beans and telling the truth?" Mike, what do you think about that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, there's something going on in Alabama. There's no way that all those people came for all these years just because Saban is the greatest coach and they're a winning program and blah blah blah. There's something happened, and I believe him. I mean, he used to coach under Saban. He knows what the fuck he's like. So good for him calling him out. I hope he doesn't have any skeletons in his closet, but if he does,
I'm sure he does.
I'm hope he owns up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing, if you're going to have this NIL and you're going to have the transfer portal, you're going to have all this bullshit, there has to be transparency to the process. If there's transparency and they just come out and say it, how can you fight it and how can you argue it? It's like when Tiger Woods was, when he started going downhill and he was, cheating on his wife and all that stuff. If he would have just came out and said, "You know what? Yes, I cheated on my wife. I'm Tiger Woods. I'm probably the most famous at the time, probably the most famous athlete in the world, and women are coming after me at all time. And yes, I did it.
And I'm human.
I'm human, and I apologize for it." If he would have said that, the whole thing would have gone away. Honestly, that we need more people to just be honest and be transparent. If you're saying
take ownership when they fuck up.
Yeah, if you're coming to Alabama, yeah, we have this NIL program. This is exactly what you're going to get paid if you come here. How can you argue with that if they're playing within the rules and they're publicizing it? It's this back channel bullshit with the boosters and all this other shit that happens that gives the programs a bad name. If they were just upfront about it, how can you argue with it? If they're within the rules, how can you argue with it?
But you got to remember that the NIL, these players are getting paid. They're sponsoring booster owned businesses as well.
Yeah.
So there's big money. So if you're at a college that's got big money, first of all, Alabama, remember they were dog meat for a million years. And let's remember, Saban was not a czar at Michigan State. Sure, he won a national championship at LSU, but then he went to the NFL and flopped for the second or third time that he was doing that. Then he comes to Alabama, and all of a sudden, next thing you know,
he's a god.
He's a god.
He's a genius. He's a football genius.
That's almost like saying like Barry Bonds. You see his rookie card, and then you see Jose Canseco's rookie card, and they're about this big, or they're this big around, and all of a sudden, 3 years down the round, their heads are about this big, and their arms are the size of my thighs. Oh, we never used we didn't do anything illegal. It's same concept.
Is he a bully, Saban? Meaning that he always wants to have the rules on his side and in his favor. You remember when Jim Harbaugh was starting to do focus camps in the South? Yes. And he really pitched a fit and closed.
Oh, sure he did.
Down.
Well, here's a reason, and Jeff, you can follow me after I say this. I think him coming out and saying that about Jimbo Fisher, the underlining statements of what he said was basically telling, "Hey, boosters, I need more money if you want this to continue."
Oh, he's going to his boosters. They said we're tapped
out. Well,
maybe
not gone to him, but he wanted him to be heard.
That's a great angle. Jeff, what do you think about Fred?
Well, I think, yeah, you're right on point with that. Here's the thing is that's NIL. That's what's going to even the playing field. Just like the number of scholarships years ago, even the playing field a little bit. This is going to level it even more. I might be in the minority. I like the fact
in
that
1989, we said Proposition 48 would level the playing field. Because remember, back in the day, there was 10 or 12 programs that would recruit 72 kids, recruit talent. Michigan would recruit guys just so Ohio State wouldn't have them. And maybe it leveled the playing field for a short time, and it brought up teams like TCU, Baylor,
Oregon.
But then now, look at the playoffs, the championship, only the SEC and only 3 teams have won a national championship in the last 20 years.
Right. But let's see what NIL does, because you go back to the 80s. Like, I just look at the Big Ten, kind of to your point, that was all other than Iowa, I think in 85 maybe won the Big Ten. But other than that, it was Michigan or Ohio
It's really
State.
now just Ohio State.
Yep. Yeah. But I think it's going to level the playing field. And I like the transfer portal too, because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of these coaches,
levels the playing field.
They level a playing field, but they make a lot of promises to these players too. Hey, come on, you're going to play. You're going to play. Oh, you're not a Michigan man. Okay. Well, you didn't keep your end of the promise, Harbaugh. You told me I'd be starting by my second year, and I'm not.
I was watching Indiana football. They were doing a replay of one of the games. Indiana, I think, Illinois, somebody. And everybody said, watch Indiana because they're coming up. They're coming up. But they have such a problem with, they were playing Wisconsin. And the announcers were talking about, hey, Indiana's going to be one of the bigger teams in the Big Ten besides Wisconsin on that side. They're on the west side, right, Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the problem that Indiana has. Wisconsin can recruit mainly their state. They have no competition. They have very little teams that go in there and get the big white tackles and guards out of there, and maybe
offensive line, defensive
line. And where Indiana, not only do they have to recruit, they have to compete with Michigan and Notre Dame, who recruits heavily in Indianapolis, Purdue. Michigan State a little bit. But if they get by all that, now they have to go up against Purdue, which is about their level. So
Purdue, Iowa, and Nebraska, they're surrounded by them.
Yeah, but so how does a team like Indiana grow in recruiting and the strength of program? Does the portal help them?
It will, but again, Indiana will never be a recognized football program. They're kind of like that team who, let's say, plays Marine City and they win once every 5 years.
People of Oregon said that about the Ducks at one time.
Well, I understand that, but the thing is when you get out into Oregon, I mean, you got a completely different mindset out there anyway. Indiana, when you talk about the Pac-12, we're talking night and day between the Big Ten and the Pac-12. And
Hello. Okay. So that was some of the ladies that listened to the show. They said enough sports. We got to talk about something else. What do you got, Mike?
Oh, wow.
Well, it was your fault, dickhead.
Yeah, you brought it up. Nice job, Dick.
Yeah, hey, good job, Tourette's.
Hey, I've hardly moved. I've been really focused on staying right in my little square here tonight.
Nice. Okay, so we have some questions from the Peanut Gallery. Some of the people that have watched the
Should they be
programs.
called us like the little idiots or something?
Well,
Should
yeah.
they have like a
we'll come up with something. Idiot Nation. There you go.
There you go. Idiot Nation. There you go, Rob.
All right. Yep. Good job, Rob. All right. So we got some questions from Idiot Nation on here. So describe your best time on the St. Clair River. Okay. So we all have been on the St. Clair River, obviously, but describe either your best time all time or your favorite thing to do on the St. Clair River. I'm going to start with you, Jeff.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I don't know that I got a couple jobby nooners that I enjoyed. That's officially St. Clair River. Not a huge river guy. I had a couple buddies. Their parents had cottages on the flats where you'd have to actually take the boat out to get there.
Yeah.
So a lot of drinking, a lot of fishing.
Okay.
A lot of debauchery out there. That's probably it. I don't know if I could give you just one.
No, you don't have to give me one. Just some experiences you've had.
Yeah,
So.
but I'd go there. Did a float down one year, but honestly, I hated that. That.
Sucked.
I thought that was miserable.
Oh, with all the people, yeah, it's fun if you're just going with a group of friends, but get into that shit show. That's the organized float down. That's a shit show.
It is a shit show.
Yeah.
All right, Fred, what about you?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank my cousin Billy Jor
Yep.
for coming up with that question. Very, very good question. Obviously, the memories I have with Rob and Mike and my cousin Nancy and Billy and my sister and my uncle Bill floating down from my house all the way down to my grandma's house in Marine City. That's one. Now that I own a boat, Mike, you and I have our annual trip that we go on. I look forward to it every year. That one year was just absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't believe how much the water was just pure glass,
Yeah.
all the way from Port Huron all the way down to Marine City. And I have to say, with Rob, he got me into fishing a little bit, and we went out on the boat and did some fishing, and with Kevin Mon and Rob and myself, and it's just kind of relaxing, and it's good to go out with the girls, go tubing, and I think it's just I think all of us are very lucky to have that body of water mere feet from us.
No question. How about you, Rob?
We're Marine City boys, right? We're river rats. We grew up on that river. We swam in that river from the time we were probably 5 or 6 years old and 7 years old. And I have very many fond memories. One in particular, it's nostalgic. I'll go to that one in a minute, but some of our times playing volleyball down by the Edison and a hot summer day to cool off, to jump in off the boards. That was pretty spectacular. I'll never forget those moments. But my grandparents had a house on Point Drive. And when I was young, we would be over there a lot. And my grandfather had an old Chris Craft. And I remember one night they took us out for a, typical like evening cruise. And my grandfather, for whatever reason, I was only 4 or 5 and I still remember it. He gave me this little pocket knife. It really was something that, tiny. I still have it today, could barely open. I couldn't really use it to cut myself with it, but it was just such a fond memory.
Nice. Yeah, I'd have to say my favorite experience has always been floating down on the river.
Oh yeah.
Especially when we were younger and we're drinking, we're not supposed to be drinking. You can't beat that. A lot of kids growing up, they have stories about what they did partying and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of them, not many of them can say, hey, we floated down the river and drank beer when we're in high school. That was pretty awesome to do. Those are my favorite memories of the river for sure.
Who sent that question? Billy Jor?
Billy Jor.
Great question. That is a great question. Yep. Billy, type in one of the comments. We'd like to hear, one of your favorite times on the river too, because his grandmother lived right on that river. Same grandmother as Fred.
Whenever they came to town, we always made sure that one of those days that we would be floating down the river, and it'd be my Uncle Bill, myself. Matter of fact, I remember one time my Uncle Bill and we swam from my parents' house all the way to my grandma's with no life preservers, no nothing. That's how stupid.
We used to do it on basketballs.
Yeah, I remember doing that too.
Hey, Fred, just because Billy brought up this question, I'm going to tell you another story, and you'll get a kick out of this too, Fred. Fred, Bill, and I will be the only ones that knew my Uncle Richard. His name was Dick Tracy. My mother's maiden name was Tracy, and her oldest brother was Richard, and he was a character.
Oh, I love that man.
Yeah, and he lived on Point Drive for a while across the street from us, because most people know I grew up on Point Drive. But he was a big sailor, and he had a sailboat. Well, oftentimes our family would come to his house and they do a sailing trip on the river. And Richard was notorious for not ever turning on the engine. He didn't care how much lack of wind was out there. So it was me, Richard Tracy, Cliff Cunningham. So basically my 2 uncles and I. And Cliff Cunningham was another character too, but my uncle would not turn the engine on. There was not a breath of wind. The sails hadn't moved in 2 hours. There were freighters bearing down on us in both directions. And finally, Cliff Cunningham said, fucking Richard, put the engine on. And finally, after a little bit of coaxing, he put the engine on just in time to get away from the Henry Ford, which was going to hit us.
Oh, Jesus. A little wind here, little help. He's like Tommy.
Need a
Boy
little
out
wind here. But you need to lose 1,000 pounds, you blimp.
Quit playing with your dinghy.
They would never put
Free
that
Willy.
engine on. Then he couldn't understand why people wouldn't want to go out sailing with him.
there. Yeah. It sounds like it's more floating than sailing.
Rob, I concur with that because I was on a trip with you, your mom, my parents, Richard, and his wife at the time, and he would not. Finally, my mom said, we got to get moving here," and he finally turned the little motor on it, and it felt like we were standing still and trying to fight the current going all the way back. I'm like, by the time I got home, my clothes went out of style.
All right.
Good question, Billy. Good
question.
Great question.
All right, we got one from our second special guest, Miss Lisa. Who makes better teachers, men or women?
Ooh.
Who makes better teachers? Let's start with you, Fred. We started with Jeff last time. So.
Okay. I obviously my favorite teacher was a man because I think I needed to be
Molded, beaten.
no, I needed to be controlled because of my so hyper. But I will tell you, I think women are better teachers because they're more patient. They have that mother instinct. For people like Nancy Christie and Helen Wheeler and Margaret Pong and Kathleen Krug, who I had at Holy Cross, people like them who had to put up with people like myself, Dean Osterlin, and the two Maben boys,
Oh God,
Mike and Dan.
Jesus Christ!
Miss,
all
we're
in one.
not talking about your husband, which is the good Maven boy. Yeah.
Right. But but back then, kind of hellion-ish, and sometimes you get lumped into those groups, and of course stereotyping comes into play. But most of the women that were very, very patient and were willing to work with you and to help you, and those were the people who I cared about behind the scenes, where it might not have shown in class, but behind the scenes, they knew how much I appreciated them.
Hey, what about you, Rob? What do you think? Men or women are better teachers?
I think all my favorite teachers were women. So I'm gonna have
because you wanted to have sex with them.
Not Mrs. Punk.
No.
Is that the only one? That's the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one.
It might be a truthful statement on most of those, what he said, but definitely not Mrs. Pong. I can tell you that. She was a great teacher, though. I don't know. I mean, I think some of the men were. I mean, you could say, but men make better gym teachers. But then look at Toad.
Toad was the shit. She was
awesome.
She was the czar of the gymnasium.
She
Right,
was.
So I'll keep my answer short. I'll just say women. I think women.
All right. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, well, this one I think it's women as well. I think you got four guys here, right? So here's the thing. We've all got some male ego. So a lot of times, if the question is coaches, sometimes a coach gets in your face, right? And it motivates you. To Fred's point, he's a little hyper. That's going to get him going. But in the school setting, when I had a guy teacher giving me a hard time about anything or trying to teach me something that I wasn't getting, it destroyed
Right over your
me.
They intimidate you.
Yes, women were always, all my female,
Nurturing.
even into college, female teachers, they took time. They really got to peel that onion layer back, I guess is what they say, right? Figure out why you're not understanding it and go from there.
They peeled all your hair off.
Yeah, well,
wow,
yeah.
he peeled his onions.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, women are better math teachers because
1,000%.
men just get pissed when you can't figure it out. And I'm like, anybody like the ones that we dealt with in the high school when we were in high school.
Gunderson.
Huh?
No, I'm
Mr.
not saying
Gunderson.
that to be mean. Mr. Gunderson is probably a really brilliant man and a good teacher in his own right, but he really wasn't sensitive. He didn't have the ability to be patient. And
I don't know
work with-
one man back in our time teaching other than Joe Chalufo and
I
Mr.
love Joe.
Pasquantonio
Yeah.
and Mr. Harvey and Tony Cavas. What are the, I mean, they all had something in common. You know, they were they weren't that manly, you know, like I'm going to, you know, I go work out and I'm going to come and squash you with my thumb mentality. They were the ultimate teacher. They could be the discipline aspect of it, but also very nurturing, but also wants to see you do well.
Right.
So I would say that, you know, those type of teachers, like I love Pasquantonio. I never had Cavas, but I've only heard good things. I loved Gary Harvey, and
Chalufo.
Chalufo. I mean, everybody loved him, especially in grade school. I mean, he was just he was kind of like that 60s hippie guy that was just kind of.
Is he the Bob Ross of Marine City?
He definitely is the Bob Ross of Marine City. Happy little accidents.
Yeah.
And, I mean, is there anything better to describe Marine City as a happy little accident?
No shit.
Right.
No shit.
What about you, Mike?
I think women, hands down. I think, you know, for a lot of the reasons you guys said, but they're also, I think they genuinely care more about the students and want to see the students succeed than it just as a general statement than a lot of the male teachers. You know, I think to Jeff's point, it's a lot about ego too. So, you know, I think women are more nurturing and more understanding, more patient, more caring. I mean, that's what makes for a better teacher, in my opinion. You know, maybe not a coach, because a coach, you need somebody that's kind of a hard ass or whatever. That's it's their way or the highway. But from a teacher, you need someone that can adapt to how the students learn and how they react. And, you know, I think women are a lot more capable of doing that than men are.
You know, I would have liked to had Coach Ron as a teacher. You know, he came after us, but talking to him a couple of weeks ago, I think an inspiring guy. I think he would have been a great teacher to have, kind of like Mr. Carlson. I like Mr. Carlson as a male teacher. I thought he was very good.
I'd be remiss not to mention the fact that I probably wouldn't have been able to play. I probably wouldn't have played college basketball if it wasn't for Darryl Walker. I thought he was a phenomenal coach. You know, if we would have had Darryl Walker my junior year with Eric Gunderson, Brian Allen, Bill Endress, Randy Jones, Dale Volker, and Darren Brooks, and the rest of them, I think we would have went a lot farther in our basketball season. But to each its own.
Lisa, we want to hear what you think on this question. So post in the comments. We want to know if you. I'm going to venture to say she's going to say a man.
Oh, I don't know. I think you'd be surprised.
I don't know. You might be surprised by that.
I might be.
Fred, that kind of brought back a memory. The first time I ever really remember talking to you was we were at SC4. It was a night class, and it was like and I can't remember the teacher's name, but it was like a business class where you took the test to see what your personality would, you know, what
colors
you were
or something like that
for a career. And it was a lot of what we're talking about now. A lot of times it would just turn into like almost a therapy session. You know, she would just ask you about what's going on in your life.
Was Fred crying?
And no. But I think you did get a lot out of that. I think we all did.
Fred's going to flip you off any minute now, Rob.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you saw the one with Coach Ron, but we told him before, we said, it could be a good show if we get him to, you know, have a couple guttural laughs and cry. And we got Coach to have a couple guttural laughs and Fred cried. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
He's not going to let you live that one down, Fred.
I'm not ashamed of it. So
Oh, of
I'm
course
not-
not.
I pick on it, but it was
No,
one of our better moments of the show.
I mean, all of you know that I'm a very emotional guy. And in fact, I cried at my wedding. Nancy didn't. I cried. I cried when my kids were born. She didn't. I'm just, when Kevin Mon comes over and we hear a song that hits us just right, we both get a little sobby.
Kevin cries too.
Well, yeah. Well, come on.
You guys hold each other.
Well, no.
Yeah.
If my daughter
Is it-
Caitlin, if my daughter with Caitlin was on here right now, she'd be saying, "Oh, they're down in the basement dancing together, singing Purple Rain," probably right now.
Hold each other. You guys
Yeah.
hold each other.
That is
Oh,
awesome.
she is so funny.
That is that's one of the best things I've heard ever in my lifetime.
Problems.
That is awesome. That is freaking
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So we
Good
have a
question,
couple
Lisa.
questions from our producer Ruth. And it's actually two-part question. Name 2 things that scare the shit out of you and 2 things that make you laugh. So I'm gonna give you a minute to think about this, but
I know mine right off.
all
the
right,
bat.
there you go.
So do I.
Joe and Nancy.
What's
I'm just
that?
gonna leave it. The scare the shit out of me is Joe and Nancy. That's Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden scare the shit out of me. And what was the other thing? Fred's like
2 things that make you laugh. Is it
The
gonna be
Hodge
Joe and
twins.
Nancy again?
The Hodge
ironically,
twins.
The 2 things that make me laugh more than anything is watching TikToks of Joe and Nancy.
So he seems to be fixated on Joe and Nancy, this Rob guy. I mean, so is it safe to say, Rob, that your life revolves around Joe and Nancy because they scare the shit out of you, they make you laugh? I mean, it sounds like your whole life.
They're like cable for me.
Anytime he goes on, I'm sure Rob's got popcorn sitting there with a drink, just waiting to piss his pants laughing.
I just read somewhere that he hasn't addressed the public in like 100 days or something like that. I don't know if that's true, but
Where's Kamala Harris?
yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. How
I
about
don't
you,
care.
Freddie? You said you had some right away.
Sure. Things that scare the shit out of me. I'm scared of dying.
Okay.
Scares the shit out of me. And clowns. Fucking hate clowns.
Well, I hate clowns too.
Oh my God. Hate
What's
clowns.
up with the clowns? Why
I
do you guys
hate
don't like
fucking clowns.
I don't
They-
like them. They're freaky.
I mean,
Ronald
what?
McDonald.
Like John Wayne Gacy freaky?
Bam.
Or,
That's all you have to say right there. And they make the best, clowns in scary movies are great. I get that, but it's because if I have a clown come anywhere near me, get the fuck away from me.
I
do
mean,
the same.
what about
And I
Ronald
will
McDonald? What about Ronald McDonald, man? Come
Yeah.
I
on.
hated Ronald McDonald as a kid.
Oopsie, bozo, no.
Bozo?
Oh, the grand
Hey.
prize game? You don't like that?
Bozo?
Hey,
Really?
Just stop with it. The other thing I get scared the hell out of me is balloons. I hate popping balloons. I don't know why. I just hate balloons. Things that make me.
I think you might be part dog or something.
I'd like to
That's a
explore
weird
how he's
one.
afraid of death. There's a lot of people that are afraid to die.
Yeah.
I think that's something to explore later.
Right. Things that make me laugh. I mean, there's a million things, but I can tell you every time I see the Progressive commercials,
Oh yeah.
I-
those are
I'm just
fucking-
dying laughing.
Those are
and-
phenomenal.
And I
Guess
will
what
tell
that
you,
is? Scotch egg? No, meatball.
hey,
You're talking about the doctor that's helping the
Right.
kids that are becoming
Yes,
their parents.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those
Hey,
are
this is
class.
not-
Those are great.
yeah, this is not a time capsule. This is a freezer.
We don't print the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be one thing that makes me die laughing. And of course, nothing gets me laughing more is when Mike, Rob, and Kevin and myself are in one room and we and we see something or say something and we all start dying laughing. There is nothing more funny than watching Kevin Mon laugh. I'm sorry.
He's
There is
funny.
nothing. He turns as red as
Yeah.
red as that
a
red.
Red
You know,
Wing,
this. Oh my God, it's hilarious. And of course, I just think that's kind of the things that are funny to me.
It's ironic because he says that whenever he hears me laugh, he laughs harder too. So
Right.
it's like fucking a couple of coconuts going back and forth because he's fucking hilarious when he's laughing, and he thinks I'm hilarious when I'm laughing. So it's nonstop, and Fred just fucking feeds off of it, man.
Yeah.
Just constantly throwing shit out there to make us laugh.
Well, yeah, not to mention the fact that now that you have Netflix and you can watch Bert Kirshner and Sebastian Maniscalco over and over again, I can't get enough of that too.
Nice. How about you, Jeff? Two things that scare the shit out of you, and two things that make you laugh.
Well, so scare the shit out of me. One of them has got to be no, that's what makes me laugh. The idiot circle. That's what makes me laugh. Thing that scares the shit out of me though are these text messages or these conversations with my wife or my kids is where it's I gotta talk to you later. Oh my gosh, man. I got something I gotta tell you. I don't want to talk about it now.
Oh boy.
I instantly hit panic mode. And 9 times out of 10 it's nothing.
Dude, my heart just went into my shoe because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one.
How are you today? Fine.
Yeah. What did I do? What did I do?
Because you think she's going to find the ATM receipt at the strip club?
Yeah,
or
what?
what?
Yeah. The OnlyFans.
A used condom underneath Jeff's seat.
$670. What the hell's the champagne room?
Honey, it's champagne. It's great. It's honey. That's the biggest one. Now, I'm kind of with you a little bit, Fred. Not so much dying, but as I get older, you feel a little pull in your shoulder. It's like, oh my gosh, what is that? My Google search history is full of idiot circle and just joking. And like, hey, left shoulder pain. What does left shoulder pain mean? Ooh, I got inner ear pain. What does that mean? Those are what scares me.
Well, yeah, they're all the things you're mentioning are symptoms of a heart attack,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when you're actually having one, you don't even realize you're having one. So I know from personal experience. So.
Oh, you've had one?
I've had one, yes. Yeah.
Now,
you haven't heard that yet?
No, I didn't know.
Yes, in July of last year.
Well, then I want to switch mine because when I found out, and I swear to God, Mike, if you would have died, I would be a mess right now.
Well, I'm glad I didn't.
Been a mess for like
I'm glad you didn't either.
I would have gotten right over it though, Mike.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, that scares me. Having people that I love, you know, like this week, my dad's having heart surgery. You know, and it's going to be rough being down in Florida with him and Susie, and hopefully everything goes smooth. But thank God Rob's going to be down there and, kind of keep me afloat, hopefully.
We'll be drinking beer Saturday night, I'm sure.
There you go.
And I thank you.
Now, Mike, let me ask you, since you how did you feel when you had one? I mean, did it come on quick?
Not really, because over the course of a couple weeks, I felt like I was having pain in my neck and in my shoulders. So I thought it was like I needed an adjustment because I go to chiropractor whenever I need an adjustment, and usually that solves the issue. Well, I went to the chiropractor. He did an adjustment for a couple days. I felt fine. I was like, okay, that's what it was. And then my neck and my shoulders started hurting again. And I was like, okay, this isn't normal. Maybe, sometimes when you're out of alignment and you get adjusted, you have to go back within a few days, because if you've been out for a while, your muscles kind of get used to that and they want to go back to that position. So sometimes your body will just naturally go back out again. So that's what I thought it was. So I went back a few days later, got an adjustment, felt good for a few days. And then, the day that it happened, I actually went to breakfast with my dad and then came home and I started to cut the grass, and I was like, not feeling very well, like feeling tired, kind of like I described it like when you've been running a lot, let's say you ran for a couple miles and you get that like kind of out of wind feeling.
Right.
I started getting like that just from cutting the grass. And so I sat down for a few minutes and then got back up and I was fine. So I was like, okay, well, I'll keep going, and didn't finish the grass. And I was like, yeah, something's wrong. So all my family was gone. So I just drove myself to the urgent care on 26. They did an EKG and they said, what, we don't want to alarm you, but something's irregular about your EKG. So we suggest you go to a emergency room with a cardiac unit. So I went to Macomb McLaren. So, and they ended up doing a procedure. I mean, I didn't realize how bad it was, but it was,
Well, tell them what it was.
Okay. Well, there's a artery called the left anterior descending artery, which if it gets clogged, they call that the widowmaker.
Yes.
So,
and that's what it was.
And mine was 99% blocked.
Oh my God.
So
99
at 100%, you're gone. So
yeah.
So they got me in right away, and they did the procedure. They put a stent in, and I'm fine. And thank God I went in when I did, because I could have been laying there on the front lawn at 508 South Market Street. So
that's right. Now, do you feel better now? Like, do you notice more energy now than you did maybe a couple months prior to the heart attack?
Not really. No.
At first you did, Mike. You kept saying, I feel great.
Well, I mean, it was, yeah, but I think I was not feeling bad up until like a couple weeks before the procedure. And I was moving stuff, out of our house. I was helping my sister move because so I'm moving heavy stuff and didn't bother me. And then,
eating
all of a sudden,
biscuits and gravy.
Of course, that goes without saying, but yeah. So I didn't have chest pain per se. So that's the reason I went in is because I felt pain going down my arms now, both of my arms on the outside. And I was like, yeah, something's wrong here. So yeah, so it's not always chest pain. If you're losing, it's hard to breathe, or you feel pain going down your arms, or your fingers tingling or something like that, you need to go in. So.
But Jeff, he makes a good point. Most men die because we don't go and have that looked at, or we don't take ourselves in. We're like, I don't want to go to the doctors. But I mean, that saved his life, and more men need to be conscious of their health, especially at our age. We're all
right
that age now, and you got to be in tune with your body and what's going on.
Absolutely.
So that was a big segue, but back to you, Jeff.
Thank God. Thank God, Mike. But that's honestly, that's one of my biggest fears. Every time I feel something, I'm like, ooh, and you play that game. Is this something I should go get checked out? Is it something I shouldn't go get checked out? So
well, I'm even more hyper focused on it now, because now I think everything, just a normal pain in my back or whatever, is it, oh shit, is this it again? And, so it's even worse for me. It's because I've been through it. So
he gets a hangnail. Tammy, take me.
And I never really, I didn't know there was no symptoms that were obvious. So now it's even scarier because I still don't know exactly when I'm supposed to go,
right.
So That's kind of strange.
Jeez.
So on a lighter note, a couple things that make you laugh.
Well, I will tell you, so lots of things. I could give you 100. I'm gonna go 2 comedians right now that I've been YouTubing a lot.
Oh, Jeff, I'm right here. You're gonna embarrass me.
3 things. The idiot circle.
3 things.
Constantly. All the hilarity and hijinks going on. But Ralphie May. Ralphie May.
My God. God rest his soul.
That guy.
Yeah.
And George Carlin. old school George Carlin, and I honestly I think we might have even mentioned him last time I was on this
Carlin?
podcast. But
Oh,
yeah, I love George Carlin. I
HBO special
Carlin.
George Carlin
Yeah.
live from Carnegie Hall was
Stuff. I take my stuff and I take all my little stuff, take it over here for more little stuff.
oh my god.
Sick. And he's great. But I'll tell you, Ralphie May, really, he was underrated. He was way better than, I mean, he's up there with Dave Chappelle to me, honestly.
The voices he would do too, right?
Yeah. Oh, he was great. And a lot of times there's no punchline. He's just telling his story, but the way he tells it, you're just dying laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's classic. So those are mine.
Okay. So I'm going to start off with the funny things because trying to bring it up a little bit, you know, everybody's kind of down after that story.
The heart attack route.
So I would say,
look at Mr. Bring Everything Up.
Yeah, one of my favorite comedians is Ricky Gervais. So I think just about anything he's got a new special out on Netflix. It just came out, I think, yesterday, which I'm going to watch tonight because, you know, he said before he made it, he's trying to cancel himself. He's trying to say shit to get himself canceled. So he's one of my favorites. And
hey, Mike, is that the guy that was on the Oscars and he said something about if Al Qaeda had a streaming network, you would
Golden Globes. Yeah,
Golden Globes.
He hosted the Golden Globes for like 6 years or something like that. And I think 2019 was his last one, and he just he
went
ripped
off.
everybody.
It was none of you out here are educated. Greta Thunberg's gone to school longer than any of you out here.
that is the best
Jethro
opening.
Bodine has gone to school longer than most
exactly. So watch. It's on YouTube. You got to watch the uncensored because he throws some F-bombs and stuff. And that's the best monologue to start anything. He just fucking tears everybody up in Hollywood. It's awesome.
Mike knows it by heart. He can pretty much do the whole
thing. You got like 20 minutes. And another person that cracks me up is Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if any of you guys watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, but most people, they cringe at the show because it's just he's so awkward. And so it gives people anxiety, the kind of shit that he gets into. But I just think it's hilarious. That's one of the funniest damn shows. Progressive Commercial is a very close third. Those commercials are my fucking all-time favorite commercials. I love that guy. He is awesome.
I think all of us were disappointed that they didn't have one for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, we kept looking for it, and we're like, what the hell could you not have that one?
All right.
Yeah. So as far as the two things that scare me, I would, you know, it involves death, but I'm not really afraid myself of dying because it kind of came close. But I think, you know, seeing a family member or, God forbid, knocking on wood, losing a child, that would be devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, that scares the shit out of me. And there's so many things that can happen now with car accidents and God knows what can happen.
Right. I'm right there with you.
That's probably my biggest.
I didn't want to bring that juju out into the
I know
atmosphere.
But I mean, that's, you know, I'm not really
much for not keeping it light and positive.
Yeah, I know,
way to bring it back down,
thanks.
Mike.
Yeah.
and maybe knocked it down a couple notches too, you dumbass.
Yeah, that's what she said. But yeah, I don't think I have a number two thing that scares me. Probably that one is enough for me. I don't scare easily. Let's put it that way. I don't mind clowns. I don't like horror movies, not because they're scary, because they're stupid. I mean, most of them are just dumb. And a lot of them are remakes. I mean, I'll tell you, the scariest movie I probably ever saw because of the time frame was probably The Exorcist. When that came out, and the scenes with her spinning her head around, and oh my God, that freaked me the fuck out. I was a little kid at the time, obviously, but holy shit, was that a scary movie when you're a kid. But I just think horror movies are dumb.
What about all the 80s stuff, the Halloween, Freddy Krueger, all that wasn't so bad. But when they came out with Hostel and Saw and all that shit. It got really dark and weird.
I
Yeah, and then you're
kind of
like,
like the Saw movies.
So do I.
Oh,
Those freaked me out a little bit. Those Saw,
me
because
too.
I'm the same. But those Saw movies, those freaked
Yeah.
me out.
And as far as I'm concerned, Halloween 1 and 2 are probably two of the best. Halloween 1 by far is probably one of the best horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously I liked Friday the 13th.
I enjoyed the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
And I like
Nightmare, I like those.
Yeah, I like those as well.
Yeah, they don't make them like they used to. I know it
No.
sounds cliche, but you know, they're doing a lot of remakes of shit just in
Yeah,
general.
it's because nobody has any imagination anymore.
It's really bad now. I mean, every movie that's coming out, it seems like it's a remake of something else. You know, it's crazy.
Or it has underlining tones of a different another movie.
Hey, speaking of which, though,
I could say Jaws was a horror movie. That's my favorite.
but we do have a movie coming out this Thursday that I am not going to miss.
Okay.
Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, come on.
You're going to Thursday, aren't you, Fred?
I'm going not Thursday, but
Wednesday
Friday.
night. He's going
And
Wednesday night at midnight.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I go for more of nostalgia. I mean, just think about where we were when that movie came out and what it meant and everything. I'll go back in there and I'll be like Fred, I'll be crying in the movie theater.
I can tell you with 100% certainty, it will not be half as good as the original. 100% certain of that.
Hey, thanks,
Well,
Captain Obvious.
You're no longer Mr. Optimist. I just don't feel that.
No.
I'm just, come on. The second movies are always.
Well, not to mention the fact that neither Meg Ryan or Kelly McGillis is in the remake, and they basically.
The hotter one is though that chick that plays his wife. I think is she's smoking hot.
Jennifer Connelly.
Oh yeah, I've always liked her.
Well, we know Goose isn't going to be in there.
No, but
His son, it looks just like him.
Miles Teller is playing Goose's son.
He looks like him.
Yeah.
I can't be
Jennifer
good.
Jennifer
I can't get
Connelly.
excited for
it.
Is it only me? Am I the only one having the thing for Jennifer
can't.
Connelly?
No,
That Coming to
I don't even know
America
what she looks
movie,
like.
I
Yeah.
was so fired
Look it
up
up,
for
man.
that, and it was terrible. So I
hey,
feel the same.
Yeah,
way.
sorry we're getting off on a tangent, folks. But
That's what we
Um,
do.
I know that's what we
the
kind of do.
show, Fred.
But
the
I will
show.
tell you, guys, and I recommend this for all of you. If none of you have started watching the series The Offer about the making of The Godfather, of how it came out, it is phenomenal.
Okay.
Phenomenal. It's on Paramount Plus. I recommend it. I give it an 11 out of 10. It's rocking.
Can
All
I
right,
make
Jeff,
an
a
admission to you
TV.
guys?
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Have not watched the last 7 of Ozark yet.
What in the fuck is wrong with you?
I know,
You were
right?
clamoring for it for a million years.
Yeah.
I know.
Ozark this, Ozark that, Ozark's the best. Ozark. You haven't even watched the fucking last 7 episodes?
Listen, I do this a lot with streaming. Like I won't watch stuff until it's finally finished because when I stream something, I want to watch it all the way through. I don't want to wait for stuff. And then when I watched the last 7, how it ended, I don't know, it put a bad taste in my mouth. I know there was 7 more coming. I just haven't got into it yet.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, quit watching Deep Throat.
You're in denial. I think you're in denial. Is that denial or what?
Behind the
what
green
stage
door.
is he in?
I'm watching NHL.
Tanya
playoffs.
Harding videos.
Jeez. So, okay, Rob, what are you watching? So, Fred, thanks
NHL
for the
hockey,
recommendation.
first of all.
I didn't know that about that series. I'll watch it.
Oh,
What about you, Rob? What would you recommend that we haven't mentioned before on the show?
To watch?
Yeah. And besides NHL hockey, we know you're watching that.
The last 7 episodes of Ozark?
Yeah, the
streaming-
last 7 episodes.
Mike, how many things have I turned you on to in
A
streaming?
lot.
Right?
So keep
Right?
it going, man.
Gay
Give,
porn.
give us give us a little nugget. Not
Okay,
your
so-
nuggets, just a nugget.
Okay, so there is a show. I have to look this up real quick, but it's almost the same people that were in Downton Abbey that are in this show, but it's more of from the serf and the peasant side of how they lived in that time. It's called Lark to Candle Ford. And yeah.
The what the fuck? Was that English that you just
Yeah,
said?
bless you.
Yeah. Hang on.
Gesundheit.
Lark
pull it
the
up.
candle for what? Hark the herald angels sing. What the fuck did he say?
Yeah.
Is that what you like?
La, 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 la,
Barry
la, la,
Larkin?
la, la.
No, I don't
Yeah.
like that shit. But I'll
It's called Lark to Candleford. And basically what it is like I said, it's about a small English village that are peasants in the 1800s that everything is surrounded by the post office. And this, I know I'm not doing it justice,
Special
but it's-
delivery.
Yeah, it's a great show. You got to watch it. I've given you enough nuggets, Mike.
you
that I
you
think
have,
trust
but
me on it.
you lost me at Downton Abbey. I don't think I could
You
watch.
just
it.
You
lost
didn't
me at
watch
post
Downton Abbey?
office.
You didn't watch Downton Abbey?
No. Do you watch
What the hell?
Bridgerton too?
No,
I
I
did.
haven't.
I love
haven't.
Bridgerton.
Oh Jesus
No.
Christ! Okay.
I love
Listen,
All right.
Bridgerton.
man,
All right,
listen,
Jeff. We'll
you
take
gotta
it.
you gotta be confident in your own sexuality, Mike. You just gotta. If
That's
something
fine. I just don't. I mean, yeah, whatever. A bunch of pompous rich fuckers. I don't want to watch that.
Are
shit.
you worried that Fred and you bring up something we say, you know how I know you're gay because you watched this? No.
No,
I mean,
I'm not afraid of that. Shit, I admitted to watching 90 Day Fiance for Christ's sake. So,
True that.
all right. How about you, Jeff?
Well, the only thing, and I hate to even throw this out there because it's actually pretty hot right now, is on Netflix, the Lincoln Lawyer. Have you seen that?
Oh, I've
No,
seen-
but
yeah. That's a great one.
Is it based on the movie The Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, it probably is.
Yeah, it
Honestly,
is.
yeah,
Okay.
it probably is.
That
Which
was a
is
good
great
movie.
Yeah.
But
great
yeah,
movie.
we finished it. We just finished it last night. Actually, we finished the first season. So
Okay. Is there only one season so far?
yep, first
Okay.
season. Just
All
so,
right,
and that's
Lincoln
been
Lawyer.
good. Now, without any giveaways though, you haven't seen the last season of Ozark. Did you guys like the way Ozark ended? I did, but there's a lot of people online that said they didn't like it.
I did.
I did too.
Yeah.
I have no comment until Robbie sees it.
Okay, I have no comment. Okay, bye.
I do need to watch it. I listen, and it could be weeks before I do it. I'm just not in that mindset. But once I get there, then what I want to do is watch it all the way through. Because how many times have you watched something 2 or 3 times because you miss so many things? There's so many little nuances you pick up. I watched Mad Men 7 times.
Well, I did that
7
with
times all the way through.
Game of Thrones. Before
Oh, yeah.
each season, I went from the beginning.
The
and
best
watched.
show ever made.
It's a
right
very
there.
good show. Game of Thrones. So
I did that with the Facts of Life too.
nice.
I did that with Saved by the Bell.
Oh God.
Tootie
So-
is a genius.
Yeah.
So I just started watching a series last night at someone else's recommendation. I don't only watch the first episode, but the first episode is pretty good. It's called Snowfall. It's on Hulu. It's about the crack cocaine, the start of the crack cocaine epidemic, or whatever you want to call it, in Los Angeles, and how it ties in with the CIA and all that bullshit. Pretty interesting. So I've only watched one episode, but that I'm kind of hooked in from the first episode. That tells you anything.
Have you
Okay.
guys watched the series, the movie, and then the documentary, both on Netflix? White Boy Slim. You guys seen that?
White Boy Rick, you mean?
Yeah, White Boy.
Yeah,
Rick.
yeah, white boy
Yeah.
Rick.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, with Matthew McConaughey that plays his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I
I haven't
have not
seen that.
that.
I haven't seen the
Well,
documentary.
Well, you should. The guy that directed is from Elginak.
Oh, really?
Is it
Yeah.
really, Fred?
Yeah, it's the same guy that did the movie Narc.
Do you realize that he was
Really?
running Detroit drugs at the same time we were in high school, and he's only like a year or two either older or younger than us.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. He was a high school kid running drugs.
And they set him up.
And
Yeah.
they set him up. Yeah.
Set him up.
Well, I've read rumors, but I don't know if they allude to it in that show that it was pretty much Coleman Young that kind of kept him behind bars as long as he did because he
Yeah.
Oh,
was
yeah.
in the middle of it.
Yeah, because he couldn't. Nobody could put his ass back
Yeah,
there.
he should have been behind
Jesus
bars.
Christ.
Hey
Yeah.
man, you know,
Shows you how
him, Kwame.
dumb the people of Detroit are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a wrap for this episode, guys. What do you think?
I hate
Sounds
it when
good.
it's over.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, we can keep going if you want, right?
No, you know what we keep talking about, Jeff, is we think that we would do better with the audience. They could listen to it each week if we did we capped it at 35 minutes. But when we get on here, there's no way we're going to keep Fred shut up for 35 minutes.
No, it's
If
yeah.
you do most of the talking there, you
Yeah.
skinny bastard.
It's
Freaking dirty Q-tip.
well, they do talk a lot about that like on podcasts and stuff, keeping it like 25, 30 minutes. That's supposedly like the sweet spot. That's
the sweet spot.
We don't like to follow rules though, Jeff. I don't know if you realize.
I'll be honest
that,
with you. I mean, obviously the ideal time to finish the show would be probably about 45 minutes. Joe Rogan does his show. He does about 45 minutes. Then
Yeah.
if he has a special guest, he might
They
do
go
it. He
for
might do it over.
Joe
just
Rogan
over-
has 12.4 million viewers.
Well, I'm just pointing out a fact that he's about 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
And a lot of the podcasts, if you really listen to them, even the ones that are, like they'll have Fred Windsor on, but it's 3 parts, right? So it's not all.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll do it in
Well,
parts, so.
we're just kind of doing this for ourselves anyway, so kind of
Yeah,
having
I love it.
Yeah, we can't shut up. We get
Jeff,
together
you
and we
know
just
what
can't shut up.
We're going to do. So Fred's got some great guests lined up. Fred, before we leave, though, give the teasers for people who are coming up. And we're going to start promoting, and just before you say that, I was going to say, we're going to start promoting local businesses too. Have those people on because we think that'd be a great source of information.
Yep. So first of all, don't forget, guys, if you're on the YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. You'll end up getting notifications when we're doing a new show. Also check our Facebook page out. Feel free to comment on there, as well as, give us questions or topics that you'd like us to discuss in the future. But upcoming, obviously, because Rob had a prior engagement set up for tomorrow, we moved the show to today. And unfortunately, our guest, Chris Meldrum, couldn't come in. So we thank you, Jeff, for coming in and filling in. Chris Meldrum will come in next Wednesday from the Meldrum brothers. The following week after that, it will be Paul Shunk from Paul and Oates. The following week after that, we're probably going to see Eddie Stevens from Los Gringos. And like I said, from there, we've been talking about getting some other people like Craig Zimmerman from the play-by-play from Marine City's football team, as well as Brady Beeden from Stuck on Sports. Jeff and I have talked privately, and he has a couple of people that he wants to keep hush hush right now. But some pop would be very, very popular for the show here if we ever wanted to do it. But we'll get into that at another date. But
he's teasing us now, Rob.
That's right. I'm gonna tease
What
you
about the guys from
bastards.
two wineries, Fred?
Yep. We're gonna have Dave Swantek on there from the Two Rivers Winery in Marine City. I spoke to him this past Saturday. Before I even could finish the sentence, he was down and ready to go for it. So.
All right.
It's great idea that you're having all these groups come on right here at the beginning of summer, because that's when it's really starting to heat up in the thumb for those guys performing all around outdoor venues. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I also think that when it becomes summertime, I think you'll see our viewing probably drop a little bit because people got family vacations and things like that.
Drop any lower?
No.
It could go negative.
Are you projecting
no? But I mean, but again, for the numbers that we've seen so far have been quite surprising. So, But
I heard
again,
male between 25 and 54 is off the charts though for you guys. I heard that.
Yeah. Shit.
well, the good thing is,
we've run those analytics because we're getting ready to storm the Algonac market. I don't know if you know that, Jeff.
yeah.
And
Well, that's why we brought
data
Jeff in
shows
this
that's
week, and we got Chris
correct.
coming in next week. We're trying to get that muskrat.
Well,
Nation.
we're up to 1,000 subscribers. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's 10 subscribers.
What is this?
You missed the decimal there.
They're strong. They're a strong 10.
We
That's a
got,
strong 10.
What is this? The
41
Allstate? What is this? The Allstate guy?
We have
This is gonna get
41,000
tens and
views
tens
of
of
our
views.
of our last episode. Wait, no, that's 41. Sorry, not 41,000. My bad.
Oh my God.
I always
But,
fuck up on the decimal places.
That's
Those
okay.
41 people though, a lot of
Gold.
disposable income.
Yeah, they're
lot
fucking
of
gold.
disposable income.
Hey, to the 41 people that watched the last episode, you're gold. You're why
You're
we
our
do
pe-
this.
you're our
That's
peeps.
why we're doing this.
That's
show.
why
I
we're
mean,
doing this.
Right.
I watched it
So
5
again,
times.
guys,
Mike watched it 5
YouTube
times.
channel, YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button so you get notifications. Also check our Facebook page out as well. Throw some topics out there. Watch for either Mike or myself to go live on Facebook. To just mention the show coming up. I know Rob, you're on Facebook. Very, very, very little, but I know that you have a page on there. You might want to get some of your peeps down there just to watch it, and might be able to get some of your cigar guys on.
Mike, could Fred might already have access. Could I have access to the Facebook so I could post stuff on there too?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Fred just does it on his own page.
I know, but I really don't use Facebook. I would do it on our page.
All right,
but-
here we go. TikTok. Get on TikTok and fucking tell everybody about the idiot
Oh,
circle.
I love me some
'Cause
TikTok.
We
boy.
know you're totally addicted to TikTok.
I love TikTok.
And
baby.
you know it's the Chinese government that's trying to mind control you, right? With this TikTok.
Yeah, one hung
See?
low.
See,
It
look,
is.
exactly. So
Yeah,
he's
Suk
already
Mi and
saying
the
he's
two,
already focused
Japanese
on Biden
twins,
and
Suk-mi and Fuk-mi, are playing mind games with you.
he's totally focused on Biden and Pelosi. That's exactly what the Chinese
Hey,
want.
I'm focused on whatever they tell me to be focused on, Mike.
Exactly.
Deck the house with balls.
Well, look
of
at
glory.
the
Rah, rah,
top
rah, rah, rah.
TikTok videos this week are Biden Pelosi. It's working. It's working.
Right. So, Mike, are you on Instagram?
I am, but I never go on there. I mean,
Well,
We're bad
that's
at
not. We
social
need to
media.
hit. We need to get an Instagram account and
we
put
do.
some-
We hit, but it's weird. You can't like post links to other stuff. You can have pictures and videos and stuff on there, but until you get a certain number of subscribers or
Subscribers.
followers,
Right.
I think it's followers on Instagram. Until
Yeah.
you get a certain number, you can't like post links to anything. So it's kind of fucking
right.
lame. So
All right. Well, hey, like I said,
Columbus took a chance.
we'll get those people out and Jeff, hey, again, appreciation on short notice coming in as the relief pitcher, Steve Soche, or excuse me, Kevin Soche.
Where's my rosin bag? There's no
So,
rosin bag.
he
here.
was the relief pitcher. He was the pinch hitter. He was the designated hitter. He
Guy
was
off the bench.
well, I would say he's like a Swiss Army knife today.
Oh, you fucking
right.
asshole.
Oh, that's
See?
a callback.
Hey.
See? Callback.
Circling it back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Jeff, your head's looking a little moist.
Get sweat.
That's what she said.
Here,
That's what
in
the
honor
actor
of
said to the
TikTok,
Archbishop.
in honor of talking about TikTok, what's
There you
that?
go.
Look
Look at this.
You know, all 4 of us really have issues.
I thought it was peanut butter jelly time. Looks like peanut butter jelly time.
If you're listening to us, you have worse issues than us.
Okay, guys.
All right,
now-
guys, we gotta call it.
Yeah, we got to call it a night before we do something really stupid.
He gone.
Go Lightning.
Oh boy.
Go Rangers.
Anybody but Colorado.
I'm saying go Calgary. That's my team. Calgary Flames. Going all the way. All right. Peace out, guys.
Peace out, peeps.
Guys.